Oh well, today I'm going to tell you a story. I haven't done a video for quite a while, and this started off with my friend Tim saying how much he missed flying. He liked flying, and I responded to him by saying I never looked upon flying as enjoyment. It was a means of getting somewhere, and indeed I mentioned that of flying I had done 10 flights before I actually landed in a plane. And that was because of the parachute training. The first time I landed in a plane was when we came back from Cyprus in a Shackleton. And so Tim kindly sent me this book, which I shall read with interest, Tim. But I may happen to mention to Tim that one of the planes I jumped from was a Beverley, and Tim hadn't heard of it. He looked it up. It was a plane. It was first built in 1952, and it was based on gliders that had been used in the Second World War. It had a fixed landing gear and twin props, or maybe there was 4, I can't remember. Anyway, the exits there was 3 exits for paratroops on board. There was one in a tail boom, and you went through a hole in the floor, and you went out both sides doors. And we did the trial jumps on this when they were considering to use it for parachuting. And you remember, this is 1957 when I'm talking about here, early 1957, and we just finished the Suez thing, so they were still thinking that paratroops might be useful. I don't know that they've done any real jumps in anger since, but there you are. So I related to Tim about the Beverley, and I looked up the Beverley on YouTube, and there's quite a response there. And there's one of the guys, a man named John Lowe. He said, it's funny, I was in the parachute regiment, 1 para, which is what I was in. And he was there, he joined in 1957. He says, I've never seen anybody make a remark about jumping from this plane. So I put on a wee note, I said, well, here's one now, I jumped from the plane. And so did he. And John actually broke his back jumping from the Beverley. It carried quite a few troops. It could carry 90 troops in the main hold, and how many it was? 36 in the boom, the tail boom. But it reduced from 96 to 70 paras, because the paras are all got so much more gear to carry. So it could exit 70. So we did the drops from both sides. Yeah, John broke his back, but we did one, and which lives in my memory because we set off. It was comparatively calm. When we reached over the dropping zone, the speed of the wind had risen. Now, you're not supposed to jump when the speed goes over 20 knots. So it must have been considerably over that, because I remember coming in, I landed on my back, I landed backwards. I couldn't turn around. The wind was so strong I couldn't maneuver around. I landed backwards. I was quite winded, and when you're in the parachute regiment, you're supposed to pull in the chute and fold it up. I couldn't get anywhere near it, and I banged the release catch. It flew away, and I lay there for a minute, and then I managed to get on my feet, and there was people lying all over the bloody place. There was one of my colleagues nearby. He had broken his collarbone, and the sergeant major was sitting almost next to me, and his terrible shot, he dislocated his shoulder, banged on it. He was quite a heavy man to start with. So anyway, so I got him to his feet, and we managed to get across, but there was ambulances and things coming. So that's my recollections of the Beverley. We did about 7 or 8 jumps from it, both sides. I never went through the hole in the floor, but we had jumps, first of all without any equipment, and then with equipment, and then 2 sides, and then, yeah, so it went on. But anyway, so that's my story of the Beverley.